All right, Algebra 2, here comes the tough part. 11.6 trigonometric equations. Solving, what you're doing is solving for angles, okay? And you're solving these equations, you're going to use the same methods you use to solve any equation, but your answers are going to be angles because you're solving for theta, and theta, of course, is our variable for angles. So these first two are rather straightforward. First, you want to solve for cosine of theta. So I'm going to move my 2 over. So I have negative 2 cosine squared of theta equals negative 2. Then I'm going to divide by negative 2. So you want to get the cosine or the sine or whatever by itself. So I get cosine squared of theta equals 1. Well, get the square root of both sides, so the cosine of theta equals positive or negative 1. So now you can use your calculator and do second cosine 1, second cosine negative 1. Now, if they want this though, when they say your answer has to be between 0 and 2 pi, that means you have to use radians. So use your unit circle, pull that out. What has a cosine of positive 1? 0. Okay, 0 degrees or 0 radians. What has a cosine of negative 1? When you look at your unit circle, that's pi. So your two answers are 0 and pi. Okay, now let's look at this one. Let's move this to this side, so we get 4 sine of theta plus 1 equals 0. See, I just subtracted sine of theta from both sides. Then I have sine of theta, 4 sine of theta equals negative 1. Then I have sine of theta equals negative 1/4. Now, sine of theta is negative 1/4, and it tells you it's from 0 to 360. So that means we can use our regular angles. So remember, the sign is positive in 2 quadrants. So we're going to have 2 answers. Another stupid trig chart. The sign is positive here and here. So you're actually looking for this angle and that angle, okay, which is this. So we're actually looking for 2 thetas, okay, this angle and this angle, okay? So on your calculator, oh wait, it's negative 1/4. Talk about another stupid teacher. Okay. We're looking for this one, which will be there, and we're looking for this one, which will be there, okay, because they're negative. The sign is negative. So on your calculator, you would do second sine and put in negative 1/4. And it's going to give you negative 14.47. So this is this right here. So 14.47 this way, remember when we go this way, it's negative. So 14.47 is this. So to find it, remember this is 360 minus 14.47 to find your angle here, because that's your reference angle. In this one, it's 180 plus 14.47, because that's how you find that one. Remember, this is the angle, this is 180 minus the angle, this is 180 plus the angle, and this is 360 minus the angle. So this angle is 14.47, so you would do 360 minus 14.47, and you would get 345.5. So theta is 345.5, and it's also 180 plus 14.7. So it's 194.47. So you're going to need to remember to find out what 2 they are. You can't just punch that in your calculator and give me negative 14.47, because that's not only just one answer, but it's not the correct answer, because you always give me the positive angle from 0, right? So that's going to take a little bit of doing. Now, this, you're going to have to remember how to factor your quadratic, or use quadratic formula, whichever one you want, because here, when you have a sine squared and a sine, you have to rearrange your equation now. If you're going to use the quadratic formula or the quadratic on your calculator, this is just like having 2x squared minus 3x plus 1. So find out what your x is, and that's what your sine is. So let's go ahead. So I don't have the quad formula on this, so I'm going to factor. But if you have the quad formula or do the quadratic formula, you can. But I can factor this and have 2x. So 2x minus 1, 2x minus 1, and I end up with 2x squared minus 2x minus 1x plus 1. So x is going to be 1/2 and x is going to be 1 because I set 2x minus 1 equals 0, and I get this. I set x minus 1 equals 0. So my sine is 1/2 and 1. So that means I'm going to have 4 answers, because I'm going to have 2 answers for 1/2 and 2 answers for 1. But with 1 and 1/2, that's going to be, because what angle has a sine of 1/2? And that would be, what do they want? They want radians or degrees? They want degrees. Okay, so look on your unit circle. What 2 angles have positive 1/2? So 30 degrees, and if you remember, and you're going to have your unit circle on here, your sine is positive here, so it's 30 degrees. Your reference angle is 30 degrees here, so that means it's 180 minus 30, so 150 is your other one. So that's your answers for the 1/2. Your sine is 1 at only one angle, and that's 90 degrees. So keep your unit circle close by to help you with these problems.